You're now watching Qnews. Here are the top stories of this hour. US President Donald Trump launched large-scale military strikes against Houthis on Saturday over the group's attack against Red Sea shipping, killing at least 31 people. Reuters reported that strikes also targeted Houthi military sites in Yemen's southwestern city of Taz, and another strike on a power station in the town of Dahyan in Saada led to a power cut. US President Donald Trump has vowed 4 days in Yemen and to hold the group accountable for its attacks in the Red Sea. Trump stated that he had directed the US military to carry out a decisive and powerful military operation against the Houthis in Yemen, emphasizing that the United States will not tolerate Houthi attacks on American ships and will use overwhelming lethal force to achieve its objectives. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has urged the United States to cease strikes against Yemen's Houthis. During his phone call with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Sergei Lavrov stressed the need for an immediate cessation of the use of force and the importance for all sides to engage in political dialogue in order to find a solution that would prevent further bloodshed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office reported that Israel is prepared to continue ceasefire talks based on the mediator's response to a US proposal for the release of 11 living detainees and half of the deceased. The office stated in a statement that the Prime Minister held an in-depth discussion on the issue of detainees with the participation of ministers, the negotiation team, and the heads of security agencies. Witnesses reported on yesterday, the deadliest attacks really took place on the Gaza Strip since the ceasefire began last January. The Israeli army carried out an Israeli airstrike in Beit Lahia in northern Gaza, killing at least 8 workers in the attack. The Palestinian news agency reported that several civilians were injured after being targeted by Israeli occupation forces in central Gaza. According to the agency, an Israeli drone struck a group of civilians while they were collecting firewood east of Johor-e-Dik village in central Gaza, resulting in multiple injuries. The Syrian Civil Defense announced that the death toll from an explosion in the city of Latakia, western Syria, has risen to at least 16. In a statement on Platform X, the Civil Defense reported that 18 civilians were injured, including 6 children. It emphasized that the toll remains preliminary as search and rescue operations continue for over 18 hours to recover those trapped under the rubble and the destroyed residential buildings. The Syrian Civil Aviation Authority has announced that the resumption of operations at Aleppo International Airport starting next Tuesday. The authority confirmed that the airport is now fully prepared to receive flights after completing all the necessary technical and administrative preparations. Mustafa Kaj, the director of the Civil Aviation Authority's media office, told AFP that the airport will handle both on domestic and international flights on reopening day, without specifying the operating airlines or destinations. At least 19 people have died in the southern and central United States as a result of powerful tornadoes and thunderstorms, according to American media reports. Authorities warned that more storms are expected to take place. Fatalities were recorded in 4 states, Missouri, Texas, and Oklahoma, with some deaths linked to the dust storm-related crashes and wind-fueled fires. Ukraine's Air Force said that Ukraine's air defense units shot down 47 of 90 drones launched by Russia in an overnight attack. It said 33 drones were lost in reference to the Ukrainian military using electronic warfare to redirect them. Russia and Ukraine continued aerial attacks on each other, inflicting injuries and damages, officials reported early on Sunday. On the fate of a proposed ceasefire to the 3-year-old war remained uncertain. Both sides have since traded heavy aerial strikes, and Russia moved closer on battlefield to ejecting Ukrainian forces from their months-old foothold in the western Russian region of Kursk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that the issue of territories seized by Russia in its war with Ukraine is complex. It should be discussed in detail at a later time. During a press conference, Zelensky reported and said he does not know exactly what was discussed in the recent talks between the United States and Russian officials in Moscow. Russia's defense ministry announced that its forces had taken control of 2 more settlements in its western. According to its Russian defense ministry, its troops captured 2 villages during their offensive operation in Kursk and attacked Ukrainian tanks and infantry fighting vehicles. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a temporary spending bill after it was approved by Congress earlier this week. The bill passed in the Senate with a 54-46 vote as 10 Democrats joined Republicans in supporting the measure despite internal opposition. This legislation aims to fund federal agencies under the end of the current fiscal year on September 30th, 2025, giving lawmakers more time to negotiate a long-term budget. This concludes our top stories of this hour and today's transmission for Qnews. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned.